Welcome back, dear listeners and viewers, audiences of all kinds. You are listening to Door to Door Gaming. This is episode 5. I am this week's host, Cameron, with my co-hosts, John
What's up?
and Dalton.
Good day.
Thought you were gonna say Guten Tag for some reason.
Guten Tag. So with introductions out of the way, what's on today's schedule, guys?
Well,
We got stuff.
I have
Got stuff.
a game. Actually, it's not. I don't have a game. I don't have a game to talk about today. I have a thing to talk about, but it's not a game. I'll let you ponder that.
Okay.
It's a game. But it's
Um,
not. It's don't worry about it.
And as we've decided to start doing, we're having discussion topics at the end or at the beginning of each episode. This week's discussion was prequels, sequels, and how many are too many. So we're going to be talking about game series that might have been stretched out a little thin.
Gears of War.
Dalton, did you, Gears of War is definitely the first one that comes to mind. Dalton, did you have any games in mind?
My first instinct when we were talking about sequel stuff is Call of Duty, but mainly for the final point of how many is too many.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. The only thing, in my opinion, that would save Call of Duty from like just getting first place in that competition, like by a long shot, is the fact that not all of them are linked together with stories, with the same continuing story. Like they have different arcs, which is the only thing that they have going for them.
Right.
Point, as opposed to like something like Halo or Gears, where they really should have stopped. Both, oddly enough, at a trilogy. 3 should have been their stopping point, like by far. But
Yeah, 3 is usually the golden rule of like how many games.
right.
And like I was discussing before we even started, I never really got into Borderlands. I played like 2, 3, and Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Like enough to know what's going on. But now that I have the Pandora collection or whatever it was, basically all of them with all the DLC and all that, there's a lot of Borderlands games, and I don't know too much about the story, like all of them. But they're all pretty much connected, more or less, right?
I know
Borderlands?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, they pretty much are all like direct narrative connections between each of the games.
Because I know they have obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, but then they have like the pre-sequel, so like before Borderlands 1, so they went back in time. They have Tales from the Borderlands, which I'm not sure what that is because I've never picked up on that one.
Tales is like it was made by Telltale Games, so it's a oh shit, it's like a Batman or a Left 4 Dead, or not Left 4 Dead,
Walking
Dead.
Yeah, The Walking Dead, Life is Strange type game, even though Life is Strange wasn't made by the same company. Yeah, it was very good actually. Tales from the Borderlands was fucking phenomenal. I loved it.
They have 2 games in that spin-off series. So like then you even start getting into spin-off series with Borderlands.
Right.
So
right. And personally, I think that's a big like differentiator is like, so when you're talking about like sequels and stuff like that, like you mentioned, the number 3 is like the golden crown. You shouldn't go past 3 for fairly self-explanatory reasons. History will tell you if you start going back and looking through different games that are trilogies that you shouldn't go past the number 3. A big factor though is like I mentioned with Call of Duty, if if all of the stories are directly connected, the franchise runs a much greater risk of being burnt out the more sequels you get, as opposed to like take something like Civilization. I know I brought up like strategy games last episode, so like take something like Civilization, where it's not so much that it's going to die because you're stretching a story out that shouldn't be stretched out, because there's not really a story to stretch out. Those typically those kind of games can go much further with like sequels, numbered sequels at least, because in the strategy genre, you can get away with foregoing the story because there is no story, and instead just putting different features and stuff in your game. And typically the reason it dies, those kind of games die, is the exact opposite of why story sequels die, in that if you don't keep changing features or removing features or adding new features, you get like feature rot where it just like stagnates. People are saying, why did I pay $60 for this game when the last game was exactly the same? This one just looks prettier. You know what I mean? So it's weird for me. I give games a huge pass that don't have story. They can have as many sequels as they want, as long as they keep feeding me with new stuff to do.
And I I absolutely love The Legend of Zelda, but being that the entire series revolves around the retelling or like bits and pieces being stitched together as we go along,
Mm-hmm.
that game's going to run into some serious issues because I know the past two games, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I can't speak for everyone, but I was kind of shocked, like how little they changed. Like they changed a lot. Don't get me wrong, but like they basically just reused the map. Like I was
Right.
expecting something different. They added a lot of cool features to the game, which changed up gameplay. But I don't know. When I pay for a whole new game, I would expect a whole new game.
Right,
So
right. That's like you wouldn't buy a sequel if the company's like, well, take like the Zelda's in this like weird like middle space between the two things that I just talked about. But like take a strategy game, even if it's largely the same strategy game, you're going to buy the sequel because it has new features, right? So most strategy
yeah,
games don't have a story to tell. You're creating your own story. Where now take the a story driven game, and they make a sequel and they're like, hey guys, it's exactly the same story that we told before. Like you're playing the same levels and the cutscenes are mostly unchanged, but we got new guns and like you're not gonna fucking buy that, right? Zelda's in this like weird fucking middle space that's like a gray goo between those two, because in a lot of ways Zelda games are like strategy games in the sense that it's open world, and in a traditional open world game you choose the way that you do things, but also it's telling the same story just with new features and like in a different way. Yeah, it's
yeah,
weird. um Metroidvanias, like Castlevania games, are largely the same. They also fit into that weird middle space for the same reasons that Zelda does, actually. So, uh,
so I mean that was my 2 cents. I mean I still, all the games that I've not griped about, but
mhm.
games that I think have gone on a little too long, I still enjoy playing them. So
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right.
that's one fair point, I think, with like a lot, even games that are overdone, like a lot of people still stick with them. I mean, like I was talking about Call of Duty earlier.
Mhm.
I, up until the most recent iteration of the game, played it religiously every single day for hours on end
Right.
for a long time. So like there's always like some amount of appeal, I think, to like sequel games, even if they are like super overdone. But
Right.
there's always
well,
like something, I guess. When there is like a hit, there's always something to sort of appreciate, I suppose.
Right. And the problem is why people focus so much on the ones that fail is because when I say the word hey, um what's a game that you want there to be a sequel to? I promise you that the game that you are right now thinking of is a story-driven game. And looking
Right,
at
yeah.
the faces on both of you, just like not a single you could give a shit if like your favorite like non-story driven game got a sequel because you just kind of expect it, right?
Right.
You're like, yeah, if say Satisfactory for me, right? I love Satisfactory. Satisfactory 2, it's entirely a possibility because they're going to release a game and they're going to be like, "Oh, we want a different world," or something like that. They're going to want to change how the gameplay mechanics work, and a lot of times to do that, you have to release a sequel. But with story-driven games, you can only do so much with expansion packs and stuff like that before it turns into, like, in my opinion, like a Destiny situation where the story becomes so convoluted, and you probably should have had like 5 or 6 games at this point to carry on the story. Because then
Yeah.
you end up purging shit, and you get newer, not new, but like returning players like me that haven't done it for years, and you get in, you're like, all right, what's the story? And then you're just lost. You're fucking lost. So
Here's to hoping Fable 4 is really good.
yes. Oh my goodness, absolutely.
Oh.
Um So Sarah, my partner, started playing a game recently that, now that I'm thinking about it, perfectly fits into this discussion. Saints Row.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, yeah.
yeah.
Never
But
played a lot
that's
of Saints Row.
She loves the reboot. I like the reboot. I understand all the gripes with the glitches and shit and the bugginess and how it's the messages that it sends is different from the originals and all that stuff. I still think it's a fun ass game. I enjoyed my time with it. Even though
That's
I
fair.
admit the fact that it is wildly different than the original 4. Fuck, the original 4 are different from the original 4. If you've played it, you know exactly what the hell I mean by that. But she started playing the first one on my old 360 recently. And she was kind of blown away by how grounded the first one is compared to the remake or the reboot, in addition to watching trailers for number 4. So, Cameron, you seem like you've played a large chunk of the Saints Row games from the looks you're given. Or at
I've
least
played
you lived through it with me, so you kind of know what's going on.
yeah, I've played like the first 2.
Okay.
And I know like the stories, like obviously the game isn't meant to be super serious necessarily. I
Right.
know they probably have serious points, but
The first game was meant to be about as serious as one would take GTA 3 or Vice City. Like, it was
yeah.
genuinely, it wasn't made to be a clone, it was made to try and stand on its feet, but you could tell that it being the first essentially successful GTA clone, that they had to get their inspiration from somewhere. And it shows.
And that being said, like because the story isn't serious, you can
Hmm.
make up a story for each game and it be okay. I mean, as long as you
Johnny
like
Gat.
yeah, exactly. As long as you add in new features and stuff, I
So,
think fans will be
for
happy.
our wonderful audience members that don't know about Saints Row, or Dalton, how much do you know about Saints Row?
Not much,
Okay,
really. I played a
so
little bit of it, but
the first one, do you remember which one?
I wanna say 3.
Okay, oh, that's a pretty balanced point between 1 and 4, because 1 is pretty grounded and 4 is 4. So 1 starts off as a pretty faithful GTA 3, GTA Vice City clone, where it's focusing solely on gang wars, right? And
Okay.
you go around the city taking territory, and the more territory you take, the more money you get, the more the city you control, the more stuff you unlock. It's very Grand Theft Auto San Andreas-y, if you remember the neighborhood mechanic in San Andreas. Um,
Mhm.
Now you end up running the Third Street Saints, which is your gang, and you're trying to take over Stillwater as the premier gang, the gang in charge of in charge of Stillwater. Saints Row 4 has you as the same player character in Saints Row 1, still leading the Saints, but you're also president of the United States fighting off an alien invasion with superpowers.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, the
And
story gets
also,
interesting.
also, you die at some point and get drugged to hell by a demon, and your right-hand man, Johnny Gat, who died in 3 and is resurrected as a clone in 4, sorry, spoilers for everybody, is sent to hell to get you in the Gat Out of Hell DLC, and in hell, you yourself as Johnny Gat turn into a demon, sprout wings, and mop up the 9 circles of hell to get to Satan, kill Satan, and get you back to reality.
That is a trip.
Like,
That is a lot. There's a lot going on there.
and it's one of the few. So the reason that this fits into this topic so much is because very obviously everything that I just described, the Saints Row community is one of the most divided communities on the face of the earth as to whether or not they need 8 more games or if they should have stopped at the second one.
Oh,
That's
Funny enough, I think I actually played a little bit of the Gat Out of Hell DLC
really.
because it was like a PlayStation free release for
Okay.
PlayStation Plus members. So I
Right.
think I did play a little bit of that one as well, but like not like I didn't understand anything that was going on, obviously,
Well, I
because it
mean,
like was completely it
For
was
if I
bizarre.
remember, is the one that like you get a dubstep gun, and it's pretty much the dubstep gun straight out of one of the Skrillex music videos. So that, yeah, I'm personally on the side that I liked the reboot, but if we went back to the original, the original formula, as fucked up and chaotic, like it went like 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4. I'm all right with 2 more fucking sequels that just get more stupid. But the reason that they never did make them is because they kind of they realized that it didn't deserve a sequel. They knew when to stop. As chaotic as the entire Saints Row arc, as I just told you, is, Evolution knew when to stop because they had an inner thought. They had a meeting in the conference room at one point after Gat Out of Hell's release, talking about the potential for a Saints Row 5. And they literally said, and I wish so many other game companies like Epic with Gears or Microsoft 343 with Halo, how they kind of stretched and forced stories that are just kind of subpar compared to the original. Volition said literally, sales have been good, response is good. Even the people that loved the first and 2 games are okay with the 4th one. Should we do a 5th one? And literally everybody came to the conclusion, we fought off an alien invasion in space.
yeah, I was gonna say,
And we killed Satan and met God.
it's
There's
like, how do
not
you
much
top
more we
that?
can do. So let's do a reboot. And that's how the reboot was made.
It's like, I don't know how you would. Yeah, you're a demonic president with superpowers who fought off aliens. How do you top that?
Yep, as chaotic as it was, and a lot of people think like, oh no, it never should have had 3 and 4. 3 was okay, but 4 should never have existed. Evolution had the understanding to be like, there is no 5. We won the universe. So yeah, that's what I got. That was the big game that I have for sequels and all that fun stuff. Saints Row.
That's a fun one though.
Uh,
Just to talk about. It definitely had an interesting arc just as a game overall.
I'm curious to see how they're gonna handle the next Gears of War because, like, obviously,
There's another?
you're
are they doing another one?
they've definitely left it on a cliffhanger like they could.
That's fair.
Um, but like, if they do, it's gonna have to be like a Mass Effect situation where it reads your current data because the
Right. Yeah.
cliffhanger
No,
is
that's true.
so divided. It's like, how do you start a new game and be like, yeah, pick one of these characters. If you're new, pick one of these characters to die that you know nothing about. It's
Right.
like it's like how do you so
Now
anyway,
I'm okay with the new Gears of War games as long as I like consciously remember that it is a new set of games. Like it,
Yeah.
in no way can it possibly be in my mind that it is a continuation of 1, 2, and 3, and Judgment, because it's not.
Oh, they're
And
vastly
it's
different.
okay standing on their own, but they're subpar. They're not good. They're just okay.
Again, reflecting back to the rule of three, I definitely think Gears of War would have been fine with just 3 games.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I agree.
but I enjoy the ones that they make. I play them for a little bit. I get into the competitive side of that. I'm actually pretty decent at Gears, surprisingly.
Okay.
Um, I'll have to send you guys a clip of me going completely mad psycho mob rage on some kids.
I used to try hard so hard with nothing but the chainsaw. Like
All the
80% of my kills in Gears 3 on the leaderboards were chainsaw kills, like 80 or 85%. I had an ass load of deaths. My KD was dog water, but like my chainsaw kills were off the fucking charts. Cool.
Okay, so I think we got all of our 2 cents taken care of on that topic. Um, who wants to talk about the game that they played? Well, John, you said you didn't really have a game.
I don't have a
Unless you want
game
to talk
today.
about that first.
I have a game thing.
Do you want to talk
You have
about
a
that first,
games
or
thing. I'm
You guys want
very
me to go first?
curious what. Yes,
yeah,
because I'm
yeah,
very
yeah.
Okay.
curious what this
All right.
means.
All right.
Sounds very unprecedented for
All
our
right.
for our our structure, our format.
All right. All right. I'll go first. All right. So, I didn't play a game. I played a game thing. All right. So the game thing is a total conversion mod. So I didn't play a game. I played a mod today, and this
Okay.
mod kind of came out of nowhere. It's for me personally. It's based on Command and Conquer Tiberian Sun. Um, Anybody knows? I know I spent like a solid fucking chunk of the last episode talking about how dog shit Tiberium Twilight
Oh,
was, which was
oh
the
God,
fourth
he's
one.
getting started again.
No,
Here we go.
this is the technically the second in the Tiberium series of Command and Conquer games. So Tiberian Sun was released in 1999 by Westwood Studios on PC. However, this mod started in 2007 by a gentleman by the name of Andrew Owen. And what a total conversion mod means essentially is that you take the game and you change it up so much to the point where it's not the game anymore. And it's modded in a way where you typically can't access the original game. So, this mod is called Tiberium Tiberian Insurrection. And what happens at the end of the very first game is essentially, because I explained in the last episode the way Command and Conquer games works, you have two main factions, and you can play through the story of both of those factions, which technically means you get two different endings. To carry on, the development team always picks the canon ending. So Tiberian Sun follows the good guys ending in the first game in Command and Conquer. Tiberian Twilight is a full-scale redo of the entire game based off of the bad guys ending. And it's fucking awesome because when this mod started development in like 2006, 2007, it was codenamed Project Perfect Mod. And it was like a fucking ghost story when it came to mods. We're talking old enough on PC to where like total conversion typically didn't even, I mean, more than like 50% of a game was being changed. And it was typically done by a person over the course of a year, maybe. This guy came in and announced that him and an entire team of people would be working over the next 10 to 15 years to completely rewrite Command and Conquer Tiberian Sun. And what's going on behind me is essentially they did. I know I don't really have anything to compare it to for you guys, but none of the units, almost none of the buildings, none of the maps, the UI is completely different. The music is all brand new. It's genuinely like a weird prequel to a sequel. And I just happened to be playing my game for this episode 2 days ago, watching YouTube off on my side monitor and recording footage of the other game for this episode. And the auto playlist brought up was Tiberian Twisted Insurrection good? I was like, what the hell is Twisted Insurrection? And the second that they said Project Perfect mod, my heart sank and I looked at it. Because this is unknowingly a mod that I've been waiting to release for the past 15 years, almost 20 years. Now, that being said, it never did make it to its 1.0 release, sadly, but it is at like 9.6, and it was just in the process of getting bugs and stuff cleaned up. There's been no movement on it since 2007, so the state that it's in is the state that it's in. But what is really fucking awesome about this mod is that typically in Command & Conquer games and most RTS games, you have a campaign that you follow, and they have you do a set of things in each mission, right? Like most strategy games would have you do. And you always, in mission 1, you only use a couple of infantry units. In mission 2, they'll throw some vehicles in. In mission 3, they'll have you use some more advanced strategy. In mission 4, you get your first base. In mission 5, you get buildings. It slowly gets more complicated. They do that with this, but because this is a transitional period between the first game and Tiberian Sun, when technology significantly changes, throughout the campaign, you're always using different vehicles. It goes from Humvees, and by the time you're towards the end of the campaign, it's like nothing but hovercrafts and laser turrets and stuff like that. It shows that technology transition. And that is because in the name Tiberium, the crystals that you harvest, I mentioned it in the last episode, the crystals that you typically harvest they showed up on an asteroid from a lore perspective. And they spread out across the Earth and caused an ecological apocalypse. Essentially, the Earth died by slowly falling asleep. But what these crystals did was they jumped technology forward by like hundreds of years in a short span. And this mod covers that short span of time as technology slowly jumps forward. So at the beginning, it's just foot infantry, tanks, medium and heavy tanks, very similar to what we have today. And by the end of it, you're building these huge bases and shit that are just like insane. The story is fucking awesome. They have the good guy's side and the bad guy's side that you can follow as well. And unlike Tiberium Twilight, the fourth game that I fucking ranted on so goddamn hard in the last episode, this has base building. You don't really see it behind me right now, but about halfway through the video that I recorded, I switch over to just like skirmishes and multiplayer with other people. And at one point, I got overzealous and I shoved 3 hard AIs and myself in a fucking area of the map that's about this fucking big, and died like 5 or 6 times on that. Just got my shit fucking wiped. But it's good old fashioned strategy and fun. The soundtrack in this is amazing. I don't know who did it off the top of my head. I could probably look it up, but I feel like they paid very good money for the soundtrack for this. It is it's serene and techno-y and rock. I don't really know how to describe it. I will very much link it in the show notes though for anybody that's interested. But I don't really have anything to like go over and say as far as like the story or like any lore stuff to like go through like we normally would with like a story driven game, but I just wanted to get on here and praise how fucking amazing this mod is. That being said, if anybody that's listening, watching, or either of you would like to try it out, the full game, Tiberian Sun, released in '99 by Westwood Studios, is currently under a freeware license. That means it is free. There's no strings attached. It's not piracy. It is not stealing of any kind. It is freeware. Westwood Studios and EA would like you to actively go and download the game from its website and play it. That also being said, Twisted Insurrection is a separate downloadable game that does not require a Tiberian Sun installation to install. You can have both games on your desktop ready to play right off the bat. If either of you would like to take a dip in to old school RTS and old school strategy, these are both perfect ways to start at no charge to yourself whatsoever. You're not risking anything by trying it. And
Whoa.
it's a blast.
I'm sorry, is this an ad read?
It might be a fucking ad read. This is a mod for one of my favorite games of all time. I will happily do a free ad read for Westwood Studios has been long dead, but I will happily do an ad read for this game. I do not care. So,
by the way,
go check it out. It's fucking fun.
By the way, the soundtrack, it says EA Games soundtrack and Frank Klepacki.
Frank Klepacki. Okay, so that's interesting because if I'm remembering names correctly, that means that the team at Twisted Insurrection got the original composer for one of the original composers for Tiberian Sun to do the soundtrack.
What did you say the full title was again?
This is Twisted Insurrection.
So they basically rebuilt that game from the ground up using pre-existing code.
Yes. Yeah. They changed so much of it though that you can't obviously the maps and the aesthetic is still really heavily there. But these games use sprites. They don't use this game specifically is just past the sprite phase and age for strategy games. They're using voxels in these. Which okay, you know what you've done game dev. You know what a voxel is. But so they've pretty much gone in and redone and replaced all of the assets, all of the voice acting for for the units and stuff like that. All of the assets for buildings have been changed. If they haven't been changed, they've been updated and modified because the visual vibe of this mod is a bit different from the base game, but in more of a glowy way. I don't really know how to explain it. Everything's just a tad bit more vibrant and glowy, if that makes sense. Like street lights have more of a glow to them, more of an ambiance than in the original. You could tell that they went in and touched up the general aesthetic as well for a lot of things. So
okay, so actually I was wrong. This seems mainly just like a various artist type situation, but they do have 2 remixes of a Frank Klepacki song.
Okay.
But the rest is some of the names: Miko Niranen, Omega Bolt, Bobus Faction.
Okay, all right.
Swire.
I do know that the entire OST is on the Twisted Insurrection YouTube channel, so you can go listen to that as well. But I didn't want to talk too much about Tiberian Sun itself because I'm gonna go ahead and announce it. I'm not gonna announce what it is, but I have a rather large project in the works concerning that particular game. Presented by Door to Door Gaming. So I'll talk to you guys about that after we stop recording.
Yeah, we didn't know about this. This is news to us too.
Are we getting a paycheck from this now?
No, it's it's still in the planning stage. It's more of research and note taking at the moment, but it is a lot of notes. I have contact info for some people. If that, I'll leave it there. All right. That's Command and Conquer. That is Command and Conquer Tiberian Sun Twisted Insurrection. That's all.
Nice.
For it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. So who we want? You want?
I kept that under 20 minutes, guys.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I know. Yay.
We'll have to start making bets on whether or not that's gonna hold up for everyone.
I'm waging Daulton's is gonna be the longest it normally is. Not in a bad way. Your stuff just always causes really good discussion for some reason.
My game is pretty short and sweet, so
Cameron always awes us. I talk about stupid shit, and Dalton starts a welcome back to I talk about stupid shit. Cameron brings something actually interesting, and Dalton causes a philosophical talk for 45 minutes. This is episode 5.
Yeah,
oh.
that's a good summary. I would think. I would say. Well,
Yeah,
Cameron,
Dalton,
since
if
you said
you're
yours is, oh,
I was
I
gonna
was
say
gonna say.
if you're go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh my god, it's
I was
melting.
I was gonna say if yours is shorter, we can either do yours first, or I can just hop straight into mine.
It sounds like you're raring to go, so it's all you, man.
6 a.m. Leaving home. You know, I love this feeling. Smell of the road in the morning. Color of the dust cloud behind my trail.
All right, yeah. So, John knows what game I did, but I don't know if he knows that I did the game that he knows that I did.
If you
So,
told me, it's mush.
I don't know.
okay, well,
I don't know what game you did.
it won't be
So
once I say it, John, because you helped me with this. So I played American Truck Simulator.
Oh.
So throw the philosophical discussion out the window, because I am going strictly practical for this.
I
one.
will start a philosophical discussion with this.
yeah,
Do you know why?
clearly.
Because you and I have differing opinions, because I have a large amount of hours in Euro Truck Simulator. And
Okay.
I beg that European trucks are better.
Okay, I was gonna
I
say
have
clearly.
nothing to wager in regards to that discussion, though.
He's like, you're probably right, whatever.
Clearly, Dalton has spent a lot of time playing this game. He wants to quit being a postal carrier and wants to be a long haul truck driver.
Damn it.
Yep. I wanna go strictly long distance.
Is
There you
that
go.
why? Is that one of the things that you use the steering wheel for?
That's the main thing I used
Okay,
the steering
all
wheel
right,
for.
all
So for those who don't know, I chose to, or I messaged John while he was at work and I was not. And I was like, hey, you have a lot of cool tech and shit that you just like have a lot in abundance of. And I was like, do you have a spare wheel? Because he has a sim setup, um, or a sim rig, but I didn't know if he was able to easily deconstruct any part of that or if he just had something spare. But he happened to have a pedal and wheels, or a pedal and wheels, a wheel and pedals for me to borrow because I am obsessed with simulator games, but I don't play them very often. But when I do, I sink really hard into them for a really long time
right.
because it's such a, and this is definitely something that we can discuss. Simulator games have, or wait, here, let me backtrack. So, American Truck Simulator, developed by SCS Software, released in 2016. It is a spin-off to the overall Truck Simulator franchise. I don't know if they are all developed by the same company or not, but I know that they are.
I can't remember.
Yeah, but I know that they all are like essentially the exact same game, just in different regions. Like that's like the basis of the franchise. Why are you making that face?
I'm glad you. I'm glad you picked up on that. What were you saying?
Okay, so this game is exactly how it sounds. You drive around making long trips in a semi truck where you have to follow. This isn't Grand Theft Auto. Shout out to last episode. You can't break the laws and
There's a
run
lot of
people
shout outs to
over.
the last episode. I really
Yeah.
hope that we had something to link to the last.
Yeah, but you have to follow all the street laws and you have to do all the boring shit of like just being your regular is trucking a blue collar job? I don't think
I kind of consider it a white collar job. To be
see,
fair.
I don't even know what that means.
Wait, what? Did you just stop? Pause the fucking what? Did you just like make a reference to blue collar and then not understand what white collar means?
That is exactly what I did.
What do
White
you?
collar is your like
What do you
your
know,
desk
Cameron?
job.
No. What do you think blue collar means?
I plead no contest.
Okay, so dear listeners, if we're gonna have a philosophy hour and so come here. Come here. Okay, listen. So, what? so blue collar and white collar. Blue collar and white collar. Okay. Blue collar and white collar refer to the classes of workers. So typically, blue collar are the ones that like get their hands dirty and get shit done, and white collars typically are the ones that oversee or supervise. Now, that's a very old school. I'm not going to go into cancel territory as to why it's referred like that, but times used to be different. Nowadays, it's typically referred to just whether or not you get your hands dirty. If you work in an office or you wear a button-up shirt, a white-collared shirt with a suit jacket or whatever the fuck they're called.
Blazer.
Yeah. So like in us, we are blue-collar workers. The supervisors, postmasters, stuff like that, they would be considered white-collar workers. A grocery store attendant would be a blue-collar worker. Technically, the person that fucking calls you about your student loans 3 times every month wanting fucking money, that's a white collar worker, technically. But that's typically, yeah.
Okay, then I would definitely consider trucking a blue collar job then.
Yeah. Economy class is now over, so.
Right? Am I you said that you would consider trucking white collar, but I definitely consider it blue collar.
I consider it like a new world white collar job. It's definitely traditionally a blue collar job because there's heavy lifting and stuff involved and manual labor and shit like that.
Mhm.
But they're also equal parts like they're kind of like an office worker, man. Like they sit in their office all day and
But they also piss and sleep in their office.
That's true. No, like I said, traditionally it is a blue collar job. I just consider it a lot of it has to do with like respect levels that people have for it as well. Technically, a police officer is a blue collar job. I consider it a white collar job. A lot of people would consider it a white collar job because it's like an elevated status thing. The responsibility that comes behind it and this responsibility that somebody has to put on themselves to do stuff, all is typically a factor, but. Anyway, truckers, steering wheels, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so I borrowed a steering wheel, and because I was originally playing just mouse and keyboard, and there are a lot of weird, strange forms of controls for a lot of these types of games. Any game that involves driving, anyone that has played a game that involves driving, a mouse and keyboard is not the way to do any of it because there's obviously no like. Your keyboard has 2 thresholds, pressed and not, and that's it. It's either the key switch is either active or it is not active. So you are either slamming the gas or coasting in neutral. Like there's no.
That is what you call binary. It is either on or it is off.
Correct.
So it's the same with steering, which is the funnier of the two. And I'm going to interject. I'm sorry. I saw a meme that kind of visualizes exactly what you're describing. A while back, there was in Assetto Corsa, because I know you play Assetto also, Daulton. In Assetto, there was a really big like Assetto play. He's not like famous or anything like that, but in a community, he was a very well known person that died. And they held an in-game thing for him. It was really sweet, but you could tell who was a wheel user and who was a keyboard user because one of the multiple camera angles, they were doing like a very slow lap around a track, and there was a hairpin turn on one end, and everybody that was a steering wheel user was coming around nice and smooth with their tires turning like this. And all the keyboard users were, I'm turning. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the fun part about
like
it.
Flipping every time somebody hit S on the keyboard. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what it is about these types of games, sim games or simulator games in general as like a genre, but I've always found them like weirdly therapeutic and relaxing. And I had been playing a lot of the games that I had been playing for the last few episodes. I either was like thinking too hard or not thinking at all. So I wanted to be able to play a game where I could think but not think, if that makes any sense.
You
Where
were
I
looking
like,
for a skill to hone.
sure, yeah, and
Yeah.
this game definitely has a unique challenge in like driving a semi truck, even in a simulator game, is really fucking hard. Like, it is not easy. I can't tell you. So every single like every job offer that you accept as part of this game, they give you like a big old list. It tells you like how much money each job is gonna make, how long it is, how many miles, how long it's supposed to take, and when you're supposed to get there. I would get there, and the in-game clock is obviously like not like one to one with a real life,
Right.
but it is somewhat reasonable in the way that it measures out time. So I got to my like docking area with like 30 minutes to spare on my clock. So I was like, oh, I'm good. This is great. And there are three options when you get your trailer to the place. You can either skip the parking and it'll just do it for you. And each level gives you like more or less XP and money for that specific task. So like if you just skip it entirely, you get like half the XP and money that you would. If you just park it somewhere in the lot, you get like 80%. So it
Right.
still has you park it in a location. It's just not as hard to get to. Or you can ask the company that you're parking it for exactly where they want it, and normally that is the hardest one. I picked the hardest one every single time because I was like, I want this to be as like true to real life as possible. And I got there at my spot with 30 minutes on my clock. And this I'm speaking in this next part I'm speaking in real life time. It took me 5 minutes of backing a trailer, pulling forward, backing a trailer, and pulling forward over and over and over again until I finally was able to kind of line up the trailer enough for it to count for the full reward. And I just said that this like was stress free and I didn't have to think about it, and like it was fun. That was the first couple times that I parked it, because after that I kind of like got over it. I was like, okay, this is really hard. I will figure it out with time. But the first like 2 or 3 times that I parked the trailer, the most frustrating, painful endeavor I had ever fucking experienced. It was fun, but holy shit, it was fucking hard. And I got so
Uh,
mad trying to park a stupid trailer in a fake reality.
Yeah, I think that's the difference between you and me in those. When I played Euro Truck Simulator, I just like I didn't care. I took $1,000 job and ended up with $2,500 in fines at the end of it pretty consistently.
Just constantly speeding,
Oh
passing, hitting
yeah.
other
This is
cars.
my exit. Knock this fucking car off the fucking ramp. Yeah. Also, the Euro Truck Simulator is specifically y'all's fucking 4-leaf clover interchanges everywhere. What the fuck are you guys doing? Like, okay, here in America, when we enter like a clover exit, right? Or
This is a
an on
clover
ramp.
exit.
Okay, so like when you have, I don't know if I can visualize this. You have a highway coming this way and a highway coming this way. So that's a cross, right?
Mm-hmm.
The humps, the off ramps, when they do this on all 4 corners, that's a clover.
Oh, like the big
Yeah,
circle on the off ramp.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So like that's the thing. One of those circles in America is like, even according to like American Truck Sim, is like a mile long. We've all been on those fucking circles, right? They're huge and round and big. The fucker in Euro Truck Simulator and on Google Maps, their cloverleaf interchanges over there are like the size of a dime. Like you go from like fast as fuck to not, you gotta stop to make the turns on their clover leaves, and I want to know what the fuck is up. It's like getting a pickup truck in your living room and using your kitchen to turn around. Like they're tight, and I don't understand everything over there. Listen, I know America is the country of big, but why the fuck do y'all's roads have to be so fucking small?
It's because their cars are so
I
tiny.
just outed a whole fucking tree on our podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
think
their
it's
trailers are still the same. I mean, they have all right. So like the lorries that they have over there, right? They still have pull behinds, but and they're not quite as long as our trailers, but they're still fucking huge. I sorry. Go ahead, Dalton.
no. I
You
mean,
said something that kicked me off. I guess I don't.
no. I think. I mean, yeah. It's a
This
cool
is a
game.
video game podcast.
Yeah, it's a cool game. I enjoy driving trucks in circles and parking them in frustratingly challenging locations, and it's on PC on all the operating systems, so fucking give it a shot. If you have a wheel, use a wheel. Don't use a mouse and keyboard.
At the
I
very least, use a controller. Like
yeah. The controller is the controls are not as intuitive as you would expect as far as like what your turn signals are, and like you'll
right.
have to, if you're gonna use a controller, start by using a controller because they tell you all the keybinds when you first start the game, like when you start a new like career account. But to clarify, I only played like a couple hours of this game
Mhm.
from when I had first started playing. I think maybe I played like 3 or 4 hours, so maybe I played a little more than just a couple. But
Right.
the overall game is you start off being contracted by companies, and the eventual goal is to like build up until you can buy your own truck and have your own company and then be able to contract your own jobs, and like it's exactly what you would think it is in, if you know anything about trucking and how it works in like real life, is like
Mm-hmm.
you start off working for a company, they provide you the trucks, eventually you save up enough money to buy your own truck, yada yada yada. The gameplay path is very much
Right.
similar to what you would expect in
I
real
don't know if
life.
you know too much about trucking in real life, but you go it's essentially the story is that you go from like a Swift driver into an independent operator over time
Hmm.
as you save up
Yeah.
money. Yeah. Okay. Hell yeah. What was your favorite truck?
I
Do you know what you
never.
drove?
Huh?
Do you know what you drove?
No, because I
Eh,
drove a different truck every time because I didn't get to the point where I bought my own.
Oh, fair enough. Were they newer?
For the most part, yeah.
I was the weird kid that liked semis growing up, so like I could talk about. I think the more you guys fucking dig in about me, learn about me, I have like weird fucking subjects that I can just talk about anything with. And yes, semi trucks are one of them.
You know, I think the funny
87
thing,
Peterbilts are fucking awesome.
the crazy
I
thing is,
wish I knew what that meant.
you say that it's like certain niche weird topics. I think you could have a conversation about literally anything that's ever existed. As long as it's real, you know something about it. Like you have a bank of knowledge larger than your game's hard drive.
I appreciate that compliment. Um, I'm viewing that as an insult to myself, though.
Yeah, no,
It's
that could definitely be
Like,
backhanded
there has
compliment.
to be like a break glass and stop button somewhere.
Uh,
Oh shit.
somebody get the fire hydrant. Dude is about to explode with
Maybe I should just
knowledge.
leave. Let me know when you guys are done.
And he's gone.
this happens like every other episode, man.
Pretty much, yeah. No,
I
it is a
walked
good thing.
I walked out, my whole family looked at me like I was insane.
I mean, appropriate if the shoe fits.
Fair. You have
All
you
right.
played any other truck sims? There's just
No.
random questions. Is that the first one you ever played?
Yep, that was my first one. For my
Like not
first experience with truck sim games. I had
you
seen the other games, but
have you played any of the like arcadey ones? I know you brought up 18 Wheels of Steel in a prior episode, but it was just you saw it. But like any of the Big Mother Truckers or anything like that? from I guess Big Mother Truckers, like PS2
Oh,
days.
I know one other one, but I don't remember what it's called. But it's the one that's specifically about delivering cargo in like uh winter areas. I forget what it's called.
Snow. Mm. It's not spin tires. There's like a snow.
It's called
Is it like
Snow Runner. Snow Runner.
okay? Yeah, like like an uber realistic physics one. Is that what that was? Where
I
like
think
you had
so.
to like change your tires PSI and stuff like that. Because I think there was a mud runner too.
Where's like, is there like gameplay somewhere? Okay, these are just trailers. It is this game though.
Okay, I think I know which one you're talking about.
But yeah, so yeah, that's one of the only other ones that I've ever had any experience with.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, I've watched a couple other ones or watched like gameplay of a few. I actually watched. There's this one streamer. He has his whole shtick is he has like an entirely set up like truck in his webcam view where he has like a screen and then
Mm-hmm.
2 screens on the side so he can see his side mirrors by physically looking left and right, which is super cool. I always thought that was
Right.
really neat.
Is he by chance Mexican? Do you know?
No, I
There's
think
guys
he's
I've seen that like he's got a seat shotgun with like a center console and everything. It's like the interior of like a fucking Mac or something like that.
no, yeah, it's the I don't
Like
think
he
it's
has
that.
his wife on video with him, and she's just always sitting there like, and he'll be like and he'll say something in Spanish. He'll be like as he's backing up, and he has to hit the air brakes. He's like and she will literally be like. I'll find it and send it to you.
Yeah, no, the guy that I'm thinking of, he's like an older white guy.
Yeah.
I think he's probably like in his 50s or 60s, but he
Yeah,
he was a pretty popular streamer for a long time or
okay.
for a while, and he straight up that was like his job
Gotcha.
was being a truck simulator streamer, which I
Yeah.
thought was pretty cool.
And I think I mentioned it to you. Not Logitech. I think Logitech might do it, but other companies like Fantech and stuff like that, they make semi and large equipment specific steering wheels.
Right,
Like
yeah. Yeah, you were saying that.
I know. I think Logitech specifically. Logitech has one that is like a side console for Farm Simulator.
Whoa.
Like when you had the wheel, you should have actually played one of the farm sim games with it too. That shit's fun.
I've never played any farm sims.
Don't. You will get sucked in. It's bad. When I was with my ex-wife, it got to funny story, funny side tangent about my personal life. When I was with my ex-wife, when Farm Sim first came out, I got addicted to it. You fucking hated it. Like just fucking despise. She'd go to work and I'd be on Farm Sim, and she'd come home a shift later and I'd be on Farm Sim. I'd be like, "Look, I got a windmill. I bought this new fucking new KI." But what's funny is she came to me a couple months ago. We were talking about something, and her new husband discovered Farm Sim not too long ago, and he fell real fucking hard into it. She's like, "I hate this fucking game. It will not leave me alone." It was fucking hilarious.
Oh.
Yeah, no, driving sims in general are really fucking fun. There's something like Daulton just described a whole thing that's like not calming, but they're super calming. Shit. And you said that we wouldn't get philosophical during Daulton's segment.
Yeah, I mean, fuck me, I guess. It always happens, I suppose.
Oh shit.
I ponder a lot of thoughts. What can I say?
Oh fuck. All right.
All right, so Cameron, hit us with it. What do you got?
I was playing some Borderlands while you guys were talking. I was
Well, we wouldn't show. He's like, "Oh my god."
no, you guys are good.
Stop
just
talking
won't
about
stop.
semis.
I don't know anything about any sort of games like that. That's kind of my issue. So you guys were talking about trucks and that, and just
Farm
that job
equipment.
setting. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. So,
Oh,
but
shit.
it does sound cool, and I
You know,
do want
Lamborghini
to.
started out making tractors, right? We just keep going on tangents.
I do want to
Yeah.
play the I know there's the flight sim that Microsoft has, and they
Oh
have
yeah,
like they have the Halo like expansion where you can fly a Pelican
yeah.
on I
So
think it's
the
Delta
Pelican's
Halo.
very weird. It's very VTOL-y. Um, it's very helicoptery, and it doesn't go as fast as you think it should at all, like by
That's
any
depressing.
stretch. Like it really pissed me
Uh,
off. I remember I was using the Pelican and I was flying above our town in Microsoft Flight Sim. I was sending you screenshots of it a while back. It's fun. It's fun. You have Games Pass, don't you?
yeah, it's free through
You
Game
should.
Pass.
Yeah, you should see if you're because the Halo add-on with the Pelican is free. It's a free download.
Yeah.
You should hop on your computer and see if it can run Flight Sim.
Really quick.
Yes.
I have a thing that we're going to talk about at the end because I totally forgot about it until just now. Remind me that there is a speedrun event that we need to talk about.
Okay.
Is
Note
it a
taken.
yeah? Okay. So before we get off on another tangent, and I uh, lose track of what my thoughts are here. So I played it. It's a short little game that I've known about for a while, but I haven't had access to it because I don't game on my PC. I game on my Xbox, for anyone who didn't already know that. But they recently added it to Game Pass. It is called Little Kitty Big City.
I heard about this.
It's a third person. Well, yeah, third person for lack of third person adventure
Third cat.
game. Yeah, it's a third cat adventure game. Where you play as, I mean, I don't, a third feline. It's a third feline adventure game. Where you play as this domestic cat. The whole premise of the game is that you start on like the edge of a balcony. You're like sunbathing or whatever cats do, and you roll over to get comfortable, and end up falling off of your balcony. And I mean, this is a tall building, so I really don't even know how you survived this fall. I mean, you hit
They
like an
land on
awning.
the.
Yes, yeah, and just break all their little ankle bones. I mean, you
Aw.
land on like an awning and like bounce, and you know you're fine. And it's a kids game, so you're completely fine.
Right.
But because of the long fall and the fact that you were like asleep, sort of like you were just waking up, you don't have any energy to climb all the way back up. So
Okay.
your main goal is to get I think it was three or four fish that you had to kind of like find. But along the way, you meet other animals, and they give you like little side quests and stuff for achievement purposes. Because I did 100% this game, like my usual self. Um, you meet a crow who gives you the first fish if you can get him like there's like 25 shinies, which is just like bottle caps, paper clips, screws, stuff of that nature that crows would find interesting. So you collect all that, and he gives you the first fish, which gives you a little bit of climbing energy. So you can climb into certain areas and like progress. It is kind of like a gated map. So you need like a certain amount of energy to proceed through each section.
Hmm.
But you playing as a cat, and it's kind of like an open sandbox. You're like in this little section of like a Japanese city.
Hmm.
But you being a black cat, obviously cats are very mischievous. So you can like trip people. You can like run under their feet and trip them. You can, if they're carrying like something like their cell phone and they fall, they'll
Hmm.
drop it. You could pick up their cell phone and run off with it.
All
You
right.
can You can knock stuff off shelves. You can generally just be a pain in the ass, as most
How
cats are.
how does it control? Like, how do the controls feel? Because like I played through Stray, and I loved how it felt.
Okay, Stray. I also played through Stray since they added that on Xbox. Stray is like hyper realistic for for a cat
It's
game.
it's like it's exactly how you would expect a cat to move if you were to feel if that yeah.
Yeah, this game is similar, but it's a pretty small studio. I believe it was double. I'm trying to find the size
I
of the
remember hearing
studio.
about that.
Oh my gosh. There it is. Double Dagger Studio.
Okay.
I'm trying to find the size of the studio. I would imagine it's a pretty small team because they are
Right.
an indie company. So like things are a little janky. I uh I no clipped out of the map a couple of times without meaning to, so that was interesting. Um, there was one point
Classic.
I got so like the way that the save system works is if you quit the game, it saves where your character is, like at that point. And
Right.
I got stuck outside of the map and could not get back in. So I thought that that save file was done. Luckily, I was able to squeeze back into the map and continue my journey. But along with doing side quests, you are rewarded with I don't even. It's not even like a currency because you don't pay the currency. You collect shinies to give to the crow, and
Okay.
they buy it for you basically. But you can get cosmetics for your cat, and they're like little like hoods that go around your cat. Got like
Okay.
got like bunny ears, devil horns. My favorite one was an astronaut helmet,
It's
which was
what?
pretty
Oh,
cool.
an astronaut helmet.
Astronaut helmet. Um, but like it's a pretty simple game. There's not a whole lot to talk about. You play as a cat. You're trying to get back home. That's that's about all I got. But I did enjoy it. It was a very peaceful game compared to a lot of the games that I do play. So
Oh, speaking of peaceful games that you do play, I don't mean to throw you off topic. I did get around to playing another Crab's Treasure, and it very much did piss me off. A lot.
I while I was on vacation, I tried to 100% it. I'm missing one achievement because it is bugged right now.
Ah,
So I've been looking into ways to work around that. Some people say if you just start another profile and go do that one specific task that I need to do, it should unlock.
is it
Um,
just one of those things where everybody's waiting for the dev to put a patch out?
yeah, yeah. And
Okay, all right.
speaking of which, not to get back onto like a whole nother episode,
No, you're fine.
they did say that they were releasing DLC, like a full
Oh,
DLC.
cool.
I don't know if it's in the works or if they're still working on it or what, but yes, there will be
Hell
add-ons
yeah.
to that game.
All right. But Little Kitty Big City, is it like is there a point to the story, or is it just like is it like a cat GTA?
It is as basic of a story as you can get. You get lost and you find your way back home.
Whatever detours you come across in that during that
Yeah,
path is
yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
You make that game as fun as you make it. And
Did you say that was on GameSpot?
yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll check it out.
I enjoyed being a complete menace to society.
I feel like Dalton's downloading it right now. The look on his face.
The cat game? No, I was responding to
Okay.
a message.
Oh, okay.
But
However, so you were just bringing up another Crab's Treasure, which segues perfectly to the thing that I wanted to talk about.
Oh, okay.
oh god, are
So,
we gonna speed run Dark Souls? I'm not. I don't know if I can do that
okay,
again.
well, here's the
I don't
thing.
know if I can do that again.
Here's the thing. All right, so hear me out. is
I
I
feel like
haven't
we're
gotten.
about to be forcibly recruited for something, is what this.
No. It's just an event that I think is really, really cool. And if we've talked about speedruns before and how like the speedrunning community is pretty sick, pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
it's definitely one of
So
the things that binds the three of us together is an interest for sure.
yeah, well then I think this might work out really, really great, and it's something that we can
Oh no.
discuss later in like as far as the results in a later episode.
Okay.
So a couple months back, Moist Critical, also known as Penguin Zero, also known as Charlie. He's a
Yes.
YouTuber and Twitch streamer.
Yeah,
Um,
he's my brother. I just have a better beard. Hold on, let me get all this. Anyway, yeah, go ahead. I'll tell him you said
so
hi, man.
so he hosted a $10,000 speedrunning tournament a
Okay.
couple months back. I don't remember what the game was. All I know is that it was a wild and super cool event to watch. So he just yesterday or the day before, maybe a couple days ago, I'm not entirely sure on the timeline, released a video where they are doing another $10,000 speedrunning event
Oh no.
where there are cash money prizes involved, and the only stipulation is if you do a run, you have to include a fully uninterrupted stream. I would assume through YouTube or Twitch
Right. Yeah.
of you recording the run in its entirety, and it is on Another Crab's Treasure.
Oh shit.
So I've
So far,
haven't I
Cameron
have
is
not.
like the most qualified out of the three of us because he's
Yeah.
actually done it.
So I still haven't tried the game. It is installed on my computer. It is I even I upgraded my subscription on Game Pass so I can play my games on any device now. Um to the like Game Pass Ultimate or whatever it
Yeah.
was. So I do plan on playing it. But I also think it would be really awesome if for the next like week or two we just sunk way too deep into this game and got the chance to like actually potentially competitively speedrun.
I I would
I
be
am
I would be
I
down for
am
that.
on board for trying. I
Yeah.
have not gotten past the second boss. No, wait, the third boss.
Yeah.
Well, you haven't
Yeah,
even started yet. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I haven't even started the game yet. Haven't even played.
I can't wait to
the
put in the show notes for this episode another fucking 1 hour and at the 1 hour and fucking 20-minute mark, another crab's treasure ... again.
it's a good game, man. It's
It's a
frustrating, but it's
really good
good.
game.
Um,
You mentioned that you had to cheese the first boss, the lobster guy.
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember you
Well,
explaining how you did it, where you went out of bounds and just went out up behind him and whack. I did it by getting him into. I don't really know how I did it, but I did it by getting him into a running loop where he got stuck running in a circle, just in a dead circle. So I had to move, but I stayed as close to the center of his circle, just outside of his like center point that he was traveling as I could, and I did a tango of him running and me with the sword.
um,
It took me like 6
so
fucking tries though. It pissed
so
me off.
other gosh.
But yeah, that was
I
my
will
extra
say
news.
the bosses get increasingly harder as you go.
Yeah.
There's one. He's really cool because he looks like a samurai, but he's the imitation crab, and he'll like flex and like turn around, and his shell looks like an oni, like a Japanese demon
Oh,
mask,
okay.
and it will scare you to the point where you like literally cower in your shell, and you can't attack
Aw.
for like a brief amount of time.
Oh wow. That game,
Um,
it is. I don't care if there's another like mini segment on this game at the end of this episode. Like, it's a really good fucking game. I
And there'll be
can't.
another mini segment as an update for whether or not we went through with this
No.
and if we performed well or not.
So yeah, send us the info on that for sure. They'll just
Oh
throw it
yeah.
in the door-to-door Discord. But
Yeah.
which the audience members are postal pal, whatever the fuck we're gonna decide to call you fucks. go to our Discord and chat. It's free.
We
But
really gotta come up with a name.
that whenever I'm playing that game, because I go back and I touch it every now and then. I can't. It makes me feel like a little kid when I'm playing, and it's 100% purely the aesthetics of the game. But I
Yeah.
can't shake the fact that I'm playing like adult Spyro or some stupid shit. It's like Big Boy Crash Bandicoot or something. It's fun. It pisses you off, but like it's still in a throw the controller sort of way, but like not quite. I don't really know how to explain it. It brings about the same emotions as an adult as when you couldn't get past that part in Spyro or Crash Bandicoot as a kid. And as an adult, you would very easily be able to. So looking at the visuals of the game, it feels like they just ramped up your childhood difficulty to an adult level to match your age. It's a kid's game for your age, if that makes sense. It's very weird, and I'm in love with it. I could go on a whole thing. I just did, so.
I just posted the leaderboard along with all of the submission places. Yeah, so first place gets $5,000, second gets $3,000.
Money involved. Who mentioned getting a paycheck from this podcast earlier? Was that Cameron?
It was Cameron.
There you
That was
go.
me.
Yeah,
Look,
it's
everything in this episode is coming full circle. It's amazing.
yeah. So from top to bottom, it goes $5,000, $3,000, 1,500, 1,000, 750, and then the next prizes 6 through 10 are 500, and then prizes 11 through 15 are 250. So
All right.
and right now the top.
Challenge.
Does it say what the top run is?
Well, I guess I'm getting off of here and looking up speedrun fucking tactics for. All right, cool. All right, that's another grabs treasure, guys. Again.
All right. Yeah. So, how long is this run going on for?
So far it has 6 days and 22 hours. So I think it actually started today, like 2 hours ago. I think it's a week-long thing. Or no, it says 5:24 started at 1 p.m. So it's been up for 2 days.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to look into this more off the air for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, that's another Crab's Treasure. Went through again. I did my game. Daulton did his. Cameron, do you have anything you want to continue with? Fucking goddamn it, the name of that game trips me up. Little Kitty, Big City.
Yeah, I keep wanting to say Little City, Big Kitty.
I will keep wanting to say something inappropriate, but we won't go there on the air.
Little shitty.
It's more titty area.
Little kitty, big titty.
There it is.
I'll say it.
Daulton says, I'm afraid of no ghost.
Ghost? What ghost?
All right.
They ain't real.
All right.
Yeah, my game was pretty much wrapped up. So.
All right. Cool. All right. Housekeeping time. Let's go. Housekeeping. No, we need more lemon pledge. I'm sorry, the audience members. It's 9:11 at night, and my brain is starting to fucking melt. So.
Let's see here.
My brain is in a consistent state of like half. It's like Dairy Queen ice cream that's sat out for like a couple minutes, so long enough for it to start to melt, but still be somewhat solid and intact.
Oh wait, are you talking about the state of Dairy? We're gonna get into a whole fucking philosophical topic about Dairy Queen for a minute now. Are you talking about the state of Dairy Queen where like if you don't touch it before you get home, you take the lid off and you pull the spoon out, and before you can dig in, you have to like you have to drink the melted ice cream?
Yes, that is my brain at all times.
Right. Cameron, take us out of this fucking episode as it fucking falls apart.
So regular information, you can go to doortodoorgaming.com and that will have everything you need, links wise to Instagram or Discord, any other sites that we tag with that. And that is the number 2 gaming.com. And then let's see.
Or the number 2 door gaming.com.
Door 2
Not to be
door.
confused with, do not get on your Google and type in DOORTHENUMBERTWODOORGAMING.com. That's not what it is. It's just the number 2.
That was unnecessary.
Just to clarify, it is the number 2 that you would find on your keyboard.
Go to the show notes and click the links that I worked so hard to put down in there.
There we go.
You can find all of our episode info in the show notes.
Yes. And to pick next week's host, I'm gonna go. Well, yeah, I'll go with Daulton this time. Let's go with Daulton.
Hey, hell yeah!
Not for any particular reason, but you did kind of step out of the box of like typical gaming.
Yeah, I tried to. Yeah, I branched out for this one. I think I tried to.
Yeah, you definitely stepped outside your comfort zone on this one for sure. Yeah. I did the opposite. I regressed back into my comfort zone. It pulled me back to my like teens. Oh yeah,
that's really funny.
Any ending notes before we wrap this episode up?
Fucking
go enter Moist Critical's Another Krebs Treasure speedrun so we have more people to fuck around and compete with.
Send us fucking emails.
Send us fucking emails.
Send us fucking emails.
What he said.
I will start reading the junk mail that shows up in next episode. I swear to God, I will fucking make Daulton read junk mail that shows up in her thing.
Okay, don't send emails because that sounds way funnier.
Well, that's set in stone now. Awesome. I'm now giving him access to her. I will pick the best junk mail email.
It'll just be a transcript of junk mail that Daulton's holding on a piece of paper reading.
You want me to mail it to you?
It's job security, man.
Yeah, there you go. We need a new topic for next episode, by the by.
Oh, you gotta roll the dice.
You got your dice ready? Or, I mean, technically, I have the list in front of me and you don't, so you could just
I
pick
have a dice if you
number.
would like me to roll.
I can get up and get a physical die.
It doesn't matter.
I think Daulton will be quicker.
I just need a number from you.
I'm clicking the button.
Unless you're having him sign you're certified as an agent.
Yeah, he can be my temporary agent for the
Okay.
11.
11?
11.
All right, here we go. What is it? Can you
that
see?
text is far too small.
Is
yeah.
It?
Yes, it is.
I'm just trying to prove it. Somebody's gonna fucking.
I think your phone locked.
It did. Somebody's gonna screenshot it.
The next generation of consoles.
Hey, there you go.
Xbox 720.
Yeah, Jesus fucking God. What was it the PlayStation 5's dev kit that looked like a fucking like weird UFO shape thingamadoohickey?
I think like the beta of the console, which I don't ever think made it out of rendering.
I saw a PlayStation 5 dev kit going on eBay for like $7,000 the other day. I was like, why?
That's crazy.
Ba-dum. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, and I do not believe there is. We don't have any emails next week. Okay. Next month we'll have junk email. Did anybody else hear that?
Yeah, Daulton started streaming.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Dalton, you're playing already. Okay.
I'm here.
Fair enough. All right. Well, on that note, y'all ready to say bye?
I think we
Yeah.
are.
Okay. All right. Cameron?
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, bye.
Yeah.
Cameron doesn't want to take us out.
Bye.
All right. Bye. The end of this
Yeah.
episode is just falling apart. It's a good thing nobody makes it to the hour and 40 mark. Anyway. That
Until
one
next
person,
time.
the one person in the next 10 years is going to make it to the end of this episode and go, what the fuck happened?
It fell apart.
All right. Close us out. Close us out.
George Gaming.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you get.
That's
Fine.
all.
Jumbled
just gonna end it
hodgepodge
with,
of
like,
all
a
of us talking
weirdly-
over top of each other.
I'm just going to end it with a weirdly timed cut.
Roll credits. Oh gosh.
Is that all? Is that is that all of the Fast and the Furious films are? Ready? Scene 1.
Pretty much.
Vroom. Scene 2. Vin Diesel. Family.
Family.
Roll credits. That's it. That's a Fast and the Furious.